Good evening, everyone. Welcome to All Levels Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Let's begin standing for a moment. Come to stand, please, with your feet wider than hips distance apart from your mat. Make sure that your feet are parallel, and then bend your knees a lot as you bring your hands to your hips and tilt your weight forward so that you can feel your weight become heavier towards the balls of your feet. And then just let your head go. Let your arms go, or catch hold of opposite elbows with each hand. You may want to swing the spine gently, keeping your knees softly bent. Let your head fall, perhaps even softly shake and nod it. Then tune into the way that you're breathing here as you're upside down. Tune into the way that you're feeling in your body and in your mind and heart. So I like to go upside down just to sort of turn the page from whatever we're just doing. Take a few deep grounding breaths. Inhale through the nose. Let out a big sigh through your mouth. Ha. A couple more times. And then as you're here, begin to heel toe your feet closer together, enough so that you can easily come on down to your knees. Gently lifting your head as you find a comfortable seat, upright. So we begin a new week and a new yama within the first limb of yoga. Still on the first limb, and remember the yamas have 5 components. So we're on number 4, and that is brahmacharya. And it's generally the wise use of energy. So here's a little bit from our blog about it. So the 4th yama is brahmacharya. How do you practice moderation and balance in all areas of your life in order to harmonize with your spiritual journey, with this moving towards the infinite or divine consciousness, consequently experiencing pure vitality? Interpreted by some to include celibacy, brahmacharya involves being mindful with how you spend your energy, your thoughts, time, attention, physical presence, emotions, finances, and other resources, with the ultimate intent to align with infinite intelligence. It also includes providing your body with clean nourishment and sufficient rest, and engaging in a balance of contemplative solitude and socializing, work, and play. It's being purposeful with how you harness, contain, and expend your energy in light of the bigger picture of your spiritual journey. Consistent practice of daily pranayama, which is breath work, asana, which is this physical practice of postures, and meditation set the stage for cultivating brahmacharya. So as you're sitting here, maybe with eyes closed, perhaps a hand to your heart, a hand to your lower belly, whatever helps you to tune in and feel more grounded in the present. As you notice what kind of energy you have at this moment, whether really high energy or really low energy, maybe somewhere in between. How might you bring this idea of balance, balancing your energy? So if you're feeling really high, maybe you meet yourself there, beginning with a lot of activity, but then you try to slide yourself a little more towards the middle by slowing things down, taking more moments to be still, and then vice versa. So that in your choices that you make throughout this physical practice, you're tailoring it to bring you into more of a state of balance. Instead of, let's say you're feeling really restless and just going full on the whole time to the very end. So what does balance mean for you right now as you might set an intention for yourself? And if you can just breathe through your nose, mouth closed, let's begin to balance the breath as you sustain it both in and out. Adding a soft whisper by gently narrowing the back of your throat in the technique called Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breathing. So listening to that balanced sound of your breath. If your eyes are closed, softly open them. And if your legs are crossed, you may want to switch the leg that's forward or on top just to even out your hips. Grounding your sitting bones, bring your hands behind your back to interlace your fingers. Just going to open up the neck and shoulders a bit. And then imagine that you have a tennis ball that you're hugging right in between your elbows. So squeeze the tennis ball between your elbows and stretch your arms over to your right side. I'm mirroring you here. So your wrists towards your right hip, elbows close together. Feel that broadening across your chest. And then from here, begin to drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Encouraging more space along the left side of your neck as you soften behind your left ear. Soften your two shoulder heads further down. Soften the bottom of your front ribs towards the back of your body and your pubic bone. Just taking a couple more breaths here. Feel which thumb and index finger is on top here, the left or the right. And then as you release from that, just give your shoulders a little wiggle or shake, maybe the hands a little shake as well. And then switch the interlacing of your thumb and index finger on top. Squeeze the imaginary tennis ball between your elbows again, and then reach your wrists over to your left hip. Now drop your left ear down towards your left shoulder. Relaxing just behind your right ear. Down along the right side of your trapezius muscle. Top of the shoulder. Upper back. And even relaxing your eyes and the skin around your eyes. Forehead. One more deep breath. Feel your collarbones smile wider apart. And then exhale, release that. One more time, shake out your arms. Maybe even gently shake out your head or softly move it around. Now let's come down to all fours. And we're going to open up the upper back. So on hands and knees, set your knees a couple inches behind your hips with your wrists right under your shoulders, preparing for thread the needle. As you inhale, raise your left arm up high, opening your chest. And as you exhale, thread that arm beneath your right bent elbow, left palm face up. Lower the left side of your skull on the ground or on top of your pillow or prop that you may have. Just make sure your head is resting. And as you flare your right elbow off the ground, use your right fingertips to press into the ground as you tack your right outer hip slightly back, leveling out your two hips. And allow your rib cage to rotate, twisting across your waistline. And relaxing, two shoulders away from your neck. One more deep breath here. As you breathe out, press the ground away to slowly rise back to all fours. And let's switch. Inhale, raise your right arm up, opening your chest. Exhale, thread it underneath your left bent elbow. Resting the right side of your skull all the way down, maybe using a prop. As you flare your left elbow up, feel the ground with your left fingertips. Stabilize your lower back by balancing the height of your two hips. Encourage the twist to deepen just across your waistline, helping to unwind any held tension along your spine. And even in your neck and shoulders. One more deep breath. And as you breathe out, press up to all fours, hands and knees. And as we prepare for cat-cow a few times, let's spin out the hands so that your fingertips turn to face the outside edges of your mat or the rear edge of your mat, whatever feels like a good stretch for your inner wrists and forearms. Now let's begin. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Then coil it up. Roll your shoulders down. Exhale, press the ground with your palms and hollow your belly, looking down into cat pose. And again, inhale the heart forward, coiling your chest up, cow pose. And exhale, contract your belly to round. And take about 3 or so more cycles of cat-cow or Bitalasana, while cultivating that soothing whisper at the back of your throat, warming your body up as you breathe through your nose. Then leaning back onto your legs, let's stretch the outer wrists by making fists with your hands, pressing your fists against each other, then leaning the backs of your fists against the ground. As you slowly shift your weight forward to feel out the amount of weight you want to stretch your outer wrists with. So here you're flaring your elbows apart off the ground, lengthening your neck, softening the shoulders down. And let's lean back onto your legs, extend your arms forward, sort of like Frankenstein, and rotating from your shoulder sockets, spin your triceps to face the floor so your palms turn to face up and you feel a broadening across your shoulders and shoulder blades. You keep that broadening and slide your shoulder blades stably onto your back ribs, lengthening your neck. From here, turn your palms to face down, but continue to wrap your triceps downward, spreading your fingers flat on the mat so that your index fingers both point forward, straight ahead, parallel. Thumbs are widely reaching towards each other so that the space between thumb and index is rooted down as you tuck your toes, lift your hips, and arrive at downward facing dog. Take the first few breaths if you want to shift around in your own way, like pedaling your feet, softly moving your head. Take a look at your feet and make sure that they're hips width apart, they're parallel, your second toes are making a number 11. And then bend your knees and lift your hips as high as you can while giving your hands the energy of pushing the mat forward away from your feet. So that energy is actually rebounding up to lift your shoulders onto your back and your hips further back. See how much length you can feel through all of your back as you firm in your abdomen and begin to firm the fronts of your thigh bones back, sinking more weight down the backs of your legs to your heels. Now you might keep your knees bent and your heels might not touch the floor, but find the fullest length of your spine as you relax your neck, steadying your gaze on the floor for 3 more breaths. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Then start to walk your feet forward to stand at the top of your mat in Uttanasana, forward fold. Keeping your feet the same way, hips distance parallel. Feel free to bend your knees any amount here so that it feels like you have a flat back rather than rounding your shoulders. Press your fingertips onto blocks or the ground ahead, or maybe your shins. And as you breathe in, draw your chest forward through your upper arms. Keep the belly firm here as you exhale to hinge even deeper from your hips. As you firm down through your feet, inhale, sweep your arms overhead, rising up. See your palms touch. Then exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Arms by your sides in mountain pose. Palms face forward. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Then exhale, bow forward, entering sun salutation C. Inhale, press then halfway up. Keep your hands alongside your heels. You could use blocks if you like. Step the left knee back to a kneeling lunge. Untuck your back toes from your right foot to the floor, and inhale, raise your arms overhead and coil your chest up. As you exhale, backstroke your hands to the floor, stepping into plank. Pose, pause here, gaze forward, shoulder blades wide and down your back. Modified vinyasa, lower your knees, come forward, lower your chin, then slide your belly and pelvis to the ground. Inhale into a baby cobra to start. Just lift the top of your chest, soften the shoulders down. Then press through hands and knees, exhaling as you lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Let's take a cycle of breath here. On your next inhale, slowly raise your left leg behind you. And as you exhale, round forward to gently land the foot just inside of your left hand. Lower your back knee and untuck the toes. Down to your front foot and inhale, sweep your arms up, coiling your chest up. Exhale, backstroke your hands to land at the front of your mat, stepping right foot forward to bow. Inhale, press to your feet and circle your arms to rise all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, arriving in mountain pose. Side two. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, press to extend your chest forward. Lower your hands. Exhale, right knee steps back, untuck the toes. Root to your legs. Inhale, circle your arms up and lift the chest. Lowering your hands to plank this time. Exhale forward through Chaturanga Dandasana. Then come all the way down. Inhale into Cobra, maybe a little bit higher as you ground your feet. Exhale, press up through all fours or full plank. Then downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. Then inhale, slowly raise your right leg behind you. Exhale, round forward to gently land the foot just inside of your right hand. Lower your back knee, untuck the toes, root down to both feet and inhale your arms up, chest up. Circle your hands to the top of your mat as you exhale to step forward and bow. From down through your legs, inhale, rise tall, palms touch. Exhale your hands together, your heart beginning sun salutation A. We're warming up here, I hope. So inhale the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. You could step to plank or float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Lowering, inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling, lift through your belly to arrive at downward facing dog for 3 to 5 breaths. As you steady your gaze, let your body be still, rebalancing the rhythm of in and out breath. Let's prepare to take one more round of sun salutation A. So bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look beyond your fingertips. And at the end of your exhale, try holding your breath out as you walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat. Then inhale, press with your hands to lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise tall, palms meet. Exhale, back to Tadasana, mountain pose. One more, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, arms high in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Inhale, half bow, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to or float to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into Bhujangasana, Cobra, or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. And we'll meet again for a few breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. A few more breaths here. Hopefully you're starting to get warmer. So in downward facing dog, as you spread your fingers flat into the earth, bring your feet together to touch. Then turn out your right leg and cross your right ankle above your left knee onto your left thigh, flexing your right foot to stabilize your knee. And as you're pressing your ankle against your left thigh, allow your right thigh to splay further open. And as you press the ground away with your hands, you're lifting your two sitting bones up high, firming your belly in, and drawing your sitting bones back. Feel length through both sides of your waist as we take a couple more breaths. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your right knee to tap your right tricep, hovering forward before stepping the foot just outside of your right pinky finger. So either come into a high or low kneeling lunge, lizard lunge here, where your hands are both inside of your right leg. It's a wider stance. Tacking your right hip back and bending your front knee just over the ankle. Keep your right toes facing forward and tie your right sole on the earth. Remember, you could place your hands on blocks here if needed. You're going to take a little flow. So keeping your two hips level, breathe in and lengthen your sternum, middle of your chest forward. Breathe out, begin to straighten your right leg by scissoring the right hip further back as you bow inside of the leg. Inhale, rebend your right knee, broadening your chest forward again. And exhale, scissor your right hip back, straightening the leg to fold. Let's take 3 more. Your piece of breath. Breathe in. Exhale, right hip back, chest forward. Deep breath, lunge. Exhale, fold. Last round. Now return to a lunge and we'll set up the legs for warrior 2. Step your right foot to the front and center of your mat. Spin the back heel down where the toes are slightly facing forward. Align your right heel to the arch of your left foot. But because we're actually going to come into side angle pose, if you have a block, place the tallest height of it just outside of your right calf for more options. Then cartwheel your arms apart to rise. Wrap your right outer hip, sitting bone, underneath your body so that you can see that the middle of your right kneecap aligns with your right middle toe, both facing straight ahead as you bend the front knee over your ankle. You're firming the top of your left thigh bone towards the wide edge of your mat that's right behind you. So your pelvis is pretty neutral. Spine is tall. And then keeping your right knee bent, firm down through both feet, the outside edge of your left heel, the big toe mound of your right foot, and slide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat as you reach your right arm forward towards your front wall. So you're trying to lengthen your right side body before you lower your right forearm onto your right thigh. Bring your left hand behind your lower back, or to catch hold of the top of your right thigh. So we're opening up the front of your left shoulder in this half bound version of side angle pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, another option to place that right hand is on the block that's right beneath your right shoulder, outside of your right leg, in which you could firm your right arm up against your outer right leg, and your outer right leg could firm back against the arm, adding a greater sense of stability as you firm the right glute a bit more. So feel a spiraling action in your torso here. You're turning your chest slightly to face the sky. And if it feels okay on your neck, you're steadying your gaze upwards while lengthening your neck. Crown of your head is reaching towards your front wall. Shoulder blades are releasing down your back. Your front ribs are hugging in towards your back body as your tailbone extends towards your left outer heel. Let's take 3 more breaths in this bound Parsvakonasana. Then take a look at your right foot. Lower your 2 hands to frame it in plank. And either step right to downward dog or lower from plank into a vinyasa, your choice. Keeping balance of energy, your intent. Breath in and releasing breath out. In downward facing dog, bring your feet together to touch. Then turn out your left leg from the hip, flexing your left foot, cross the ankle just above your right knee onto your thigh like a figure 4 shape. As you press the ankle against your right thigh, allow your left thigh to splay open. And at the same time, try to evenly lift your 2 sitting bones towards your rear wall. Feel a rebounding of your weight through your palms pressing into the mat. As you let your head fall, just a few more breaths. Take a deep breath in. Then exhale, tap your left knee high outside your left upper arm and gently land your left foot forward outside of your left hand in lizard lunge, whether your back knee is lifted or on the ground, you choose. Now keep your left toes facing forward, entire sole on the floor. Both hands are inside of your left leg, maybe using blocks. And take a deep breath, broadening your collarbones, gaze just ahead of your mat. As you exhale, draw your left outer hip further back towards straightening the leg as you extend your chest forward and fold inside of the leg. Let's keep flowing. Inhale, back to the lizard lunge. Exhale, left hip back, chest forward. Feel those contrasting actions to create length as you fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, fold. Inhale, forward. And still exhale forward as you fold. Last round. Now from here, come back to your lunge and step your left foot front and center on your mat and spin your right heel down. With your right toe slightly facing forward, align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Grab a block, place it on the highest height just outside your left calf, and then press your feet to windmill your arms and rise. So feel your left sitting bone rotate underneath your body as you bend your front knee right on top of the ankle, aligning the kneecap with the middle toe, and firm the top of your right thigh bone behind you towards the wide width of your mat. Pelvis neutral. Then as you open your arms, as if entering triangle pose, glide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat and reach your left hand forward, lengthening the left side of your torso while lowering the forearm onto your thigh. Wrap your right arm behind you. You might place your right palm against your lower back of your hand that is, or you might be able to reach hold of the top of your left thigh. Some form of a half bind. Now continue to rotate the left sitting bone under with a contrast of pressing top of right thigh bone back and feel the weight through both of your feet. Stability through your legs. Now, if available, going deeper into the left hip, you could lower your left hand to the left of your left leg on the block or on the floor at the height that allows you to continue to lengthen the left side of your torso while spiraling your chest open slightly to face the sky. Take notice of the quality of your breathing here as you're drawing the top of your head towards your front wall, drawing your tailbone towards your right outer heel, and hugging your front ribs in towards your back body. Just about 3 more breaths in Parsvakonasana. Inhale, look down at your left foot, then lower your hands to frame it in plank. Take your choice, vinyasa, cat-cows, child's pose, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths where you've landed in stillness. Now, as you keep your hips leveled, here in downward dog, feet hips width apart. Inhale, raise your inner right thigh to lift your right heel back. Exhale, bend your right knee towards your nose to gently land the right foot forward, just inside of your right thumb, keeping your feet hips width apart. Bend your back knee and begin to rise up to stand in crescent lunge facing forward. Let the bend in your back knee allow you to draw your tailbone towards the floor right beneath it as you lift your frontal hip bone slightly, finding that sense of a neutral pelvis again. Pull upright, 2 hips evenly facing forward. Then bring your hands to your lower back and interlace your fingers there. Broadening your chest as you glide the knuckles of your hands down your left glute, maybe down the back of your left thigh onto your hamstring, while still anchoring your tailbone downward, mindful not to tilt it behind you further. Hug your front ribs in. Let's take a couple more deep breaths here in this version of crescent pose. Begin to raise your arms overhead. Find stability through your legs as if you're scissoring your feet towards each other. Join your hands at your heart and lengthen your spine forward. Scissor your right hip back, then twist to your right, lowering left hand on the inside of your right leg or hooking left elbow outside of your right thigh. As we explore this twist for a few breaths, feel the balance and height of your 2 hips as you hug them towards your midline. Lengthening your spine forward to trace the midline of your mat with each in-breath. Hollow your belly and continue to twist with each out-breath. In the practice of balance, bring that into how you balance the effort you're exerting here to deepen the twist with how you balance a sense of ease and grace in your breathing and the muscles in your face. One more breath. Take a look at your right foot and then lower your 2 hands, come onto your fingertips to frame it. Step your left foot forward, 1/3 closer, spinning the heel down for pyramid pose, Parsvakonasana. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthening your spine as you slightly scissor your right hip back. Keep the fronts of your thighs engaged, then exhale, fold in. A few more breaths. Now, if the back of your right leg is feeling pretty warm by now, you want to take this a little further there. You can lift the ball of your right foot so you're just on your right heel. Flex your right foot. And keeping the heel still, bring the energy of dragging it towards the rear of your mat. So you're plugging the thigh bone deeper into the hip socket. Preparing for warrior three. Set your right foot entirely onto the ground. Look ahead of your mat and plant your fingertips 1 foot in front of your right toes. You can use your blocks here if you need. Lifting from your inner thigh, raise your left leg horizontally, flexing the toes down. Now it can help to square your hips by bending your right knee, especially if you're feeling tightness in the back of the leg. Tack your right outer hip back. Turn your left hip bone to face the ground. And then gaze past your hands on the floor, broadening your chest as if you were in plank. Let's take a few more breaths. You may want to play with lifting your hands together to meet at your heart, reaching your arms behind you or wide open, or maybe even reaching them forward. Virabhadrasana 3. Now, as you bring your hands together at your heart, step your left foot to meet your right foot and rise up to stand in mountain pose, right at the top of your mat. Shifting your weight onto your left foot. Bend your right knee to the height of your right hip and flex your right foot. Press the ground away with the left sole and stand tall. Feel the stacking of your shoulder girdle above your pelvic girdle. Now with right hand catching hold of right knee, left hand on left hip, you could keep the knee bent and stand tall here. Otherwise, if you'd like to straighten the right leg forward some degree, you can bring your right arm inside of your right thigh. Clasp your big toe with your peace fingers and kick the leg towards straight as you pull the toe towards you, lugging your right shoulder bone back into its socket and down. And you might even raise your left arm towards the sky. Hand to big toe pose, or Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. So can you visualize the same posture you're in now with your right sole on the ground, basically just tilting your body like it were a sculpture? Pretty much warrior three, what you were just doing. Maybe raise the right arm up. And then when you're ready, step your right foot all the way to the rear of your mat. Passing through warrior three, will land in warrior one. Spinning the back heel down, feet hips width apart, front knee bent just over the ankle, 2 hips facing forward. And then from here, cactus bend your elbows apart, crossing your right elbow on top of the left elbow into eagle arms. Whether you choose to give yourself a big hug, hook your thumbs, or wrap your forearms in palms. Relax your shoulders down as you lift up to the crown of your head. Lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders as you gently press your forearms away from your face. Maybe bend the front knee a little deeper to stack right above the ankle as you feel the contrast of pressing the ground with the outside edge of your right heel and spinning your inner right thigh towards your rear wall. For the last 3 breaths, you might enjoy a slight back bend, coiling your chest up while softening your front ribs in. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, backstroke your hands into plank pose. Optional, flow into a vinyasa or moment to rest. We'll meet in downward facing. Feel your breath rebalance as you're in stillness. Just a couple more breaths. In downward facing dog, see your feet hips width apart. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left heel behind you. Then exhale, round knee to nose. Gently set your left foot down just inside of your left hand, coming into a high lunge. Bend your right knee. Imagine as if you're scissoring your legs without actually visibly doing so, and then start to rise up, crescent pose. Draw your tailbone downward as you lift your frontal hip bone slightly, squaring your hips forward. Then reach your hands behind your lower back, and if you can remember which, switch the interlacing of your thumb and index finger on top as you hug your elbows close together. Trace the knuckles of your hands down your right glute, maybe down your right hamstring, slowly coiling your chest up while sealing the bottom of your front ribs in towards your back and anchoring your tailbone towards the floor. Let's take a couple last breaths here. Slowly lift your arms up overhead, returning to traditional crescent lunge. Feel the steadiness of your legs, the stability in your hips. Join your hands at your heart and inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Then along your waistline, twist to your left, lowering right hand inside of the leg on the ground or block, or hooking the right elbow outside of your left thigh. See if you can match what you did on the first side, though the intensity may differ. As you continue to square your hips, feel balance and stability through your legs, expansion and length through your spine, your torso. Breath by breath, hollowing your belly, continuing to twist. Then gaze down at your left foot. Lower your two hands to frame it, perhaps using blocks here. Step your right foot forward 1/3 closer to the left. Keep your feet hips width apart as you spin the back heel down for pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward, slightly draw left hip back. And exhale as you're folding, keep pressing your belly towards your back body in support. Now, if your left hamstring is willing to go a little further, you could curl up your left toes as you flex the foot. And energetically, but not visibly, drag your left heel towards the rear of your mat. Then set your left foot entirely on the ground to prepare for Warrior 3. Crawl your fingertips, maybe on blocks, a foot ahead of your left toes. Then gaze past your hands onto the ground as you shift your weight forward. Lifting your right leg horizontally, lift from the inner thigh so that you're rotating your right outer hip to face the ground and tacking your left outer hip back. You could bend your left knee in support of this. Flex your right foot, feel energy throughout your right leg as you broaden your chest forward and look ahead. Deep breaths. You might explore lifting your hands to meet together at your heart center, to reach behind you along sides, or to open wide or reach forward. Virabhadrasana 3. As you bring your palms together at your chest, set your right foot next to the left and rise up to stand in mountain pose. Shifting your weight onto your right foot. Flex your left foot and lift your left knee to the height of your left hip, catching it on the outside with your left hand and bringing your right hand to right hip. Now you could stay here, or seeking to straighten the left leg, you can bring your left arm inside of your left thigh and clasp your big toe with your peace fingers. Kicking the left leg forward as you pull the big toe towards you, using those counter forces to Keep your spine vertical. Then you might choose to lift your right arm towards the sky, standing a little bit taller with each breath, in hand to big toe pose. Or you might explore raising the left arm and feel similarity with warrior 3. Now, as you bring your hands together at your heart again, begin to extend your left leg behind you to slowly land in warrior 1. You step your left foot entirely to the rear of your mat, passing through warrior 3. Nice, and once there, feet are hips width apart, back heels on the ground, both hips are facing forward again. This time, bend your elbows apart, sort of like a cactus shape, and cross your left elbow over the right for eagle arms. Whether hugging yourself tightly, hooking your thumbs, or wrapping forearms and palms. Send your shoulder blades down your back as you lift through the back of your skull. Then lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders, gently pressing your forearms away from your face. Perhaps bend your front knee a little deeper, just on top of your heel. As you spiral your inner left thigh a little more towards your rear wall. Firm your outer left heel into the earth as you straighten your back leg. And for the last few breaths here in Virabhadrasana 1, you might add a small back bend, coiling your chest up to face the sky. Deep inhale. Exhale as you backstroke your hands to the ground, entering your choice, vinyasa, cat-cow, child's pose, downward facing. Wherever you've landed, give yourself 3 more deep breaths, equalizing the length of in and out again. Then from downward facing dog, inhale to rock forward into plank pose. Pause there, a couple more deep breaths. If your legs are straight, firm your heels back, engaging the fronts of your thighs as you lift your lower belly and gaze forward. See if you can take a few breaths, taking your time to pass through four-limb staff by gliding forward about a foot and hugging your elbows close to your side ribs. Chaturanga Dandasana, then eventually all the way to the ground. And once there, slide your forearms forward into Sphinx pose, lifting your chest. Scoot your ankles as close together as you can. Then cross your left forearm on the ground in front of your chest. Bending your right knee, backstroke your right arm and catch hold of the inner side, the big toe side of your right ankle or foot. So we're opening the inside of your right shoulder as well as your right quadricep. Then having your knees no wider apart than your hips distance, ground your 2 frontal hip bones to help support length in your lower back. And bring your right heel just slightly to the outside of your right hip, while broadening your chest to completely face forward. Feel your jaw at ease as your shoulders melt down. Just about 3 more deep breaths here. Softly release your right leg straight and come back to Sphinx pose with both forearms. As you send your shoulders down and extend your chest forward and up, stretch your legs back and slide your ankles close together. Then cross your right forearm in front of your chest, bend your left knee, and backstroke your left arm to catch hold of the inside, big toe side of ankle or foot. With knees no wider apart than hips distance, ground your 2 frontal hip bones, and slowly bring your left heel just slightly to the outside of your left hip, lifting your chest and relaxing your shoulders. Releasing your left leg, slide back into child's pose with your feet touching each other, knees together or apart, and arms wherever it's most comfortable for you. Empty this breath completely. Pause. Then inhale slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in through your mouth. Exhale slower for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Into your belly. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Through your mouth. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time into the belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Through the mouth. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax your breathing as you press your hands to the floor just outside of your knees. Slowly rising to sit. Bring your 2 legs in front of you with your feet apart, hips distance, in Dandasana, stick pose. Spend a few breaths pressing the floor with your hands beside your hips. Pressing your big toe mounds forward as you spread your toes. Lifting up through the crown of your head as you slide your shoulders down and broaden your chest. Feel your belly firming in slightly towards your back body, increasing the length of your spine with each breath. Notice this natural space at your throat between chin and chest. So maintain all of that with integrity as you begin to bow forward, whether you use a strap around the balls of your feet or crawl your hands down the backs of your legs and maybe reach for your big toes with a clasp. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Now take a slow breath in as you lift your chest and slowly the rest of your spine. Let's take a moment in a cooling inversion of your choice. If you have a wall beside you, you could scoot one hip right up against it, roll over to your side in a fetal position, and then slide your legs up the wall. Or you can make a little support out of your 2 blocks lying on your back, lifting your pelvis, and then placing 1 or 2 blocks under your sacrum, lifting your legs straight up, supported shoulder stand. Or if you know how to practice shoulder stand safely and have no injuries in your neck or shoulders, you might go into there or plow. In your restful way of lifting your legs up higher than your heart, if you can, take another 5 last breaths there before you begin to lower. Maybe transitioning through happy baby pose or fish pose, or drawing your bent knees together into your chest. Any last little movements or squeeze, a self-hug. Finding any props you may need to support your body in Shavasana. Like a weighted blanket to sit over your pelvis, add some grounding, or a pillow under the backs of your knees, giving your lower back relief. And once your body feels comfortable, close your eyes, maybe take one last deep exhale to your mouth. And letting go of controlling your breath, take a mental scan of your body slowly from your soles to your crown, giving each part permission to now let go of any doing, any efforting, and to embrace rest. Sometimes we may need a lot of movement, a lot of sweating to get to this place of accepting stillness with joy. Now you might decide to stay longer in Shavasana or to meditate lying down. But if you'd like to come up to sit for 5 minutes of meditation, and ease your body into that position slowly. And perhaps an inquiry to focus your meditation with is how or what does balance feel like for me right now? What does the state of balance feel like for me right now? Starting the timer. expanding your attention to your body and to the space around it. Gently bring your palms to meet at your heart as we close the practice. So stepping outside of your mat and bringing your practice, how might you find ways to be mindful of how you contain, harness, and expend your energy so that it's in alignment with your spiritual practices. Let's close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.